Have you seen Star Wars?
At long last, we have some details about the Star Wars Rebels sequel and the Ahsoka Tano series, and it seems like they've actually mixed into one. It doesn't seem like we're getting an animated version. It was in production for a long time, but thanks to the success of Mandalorian Season 1, that changed the course of the project, and this comes from the guys over there at Kessel Run's Transmission, and they say that the Ahsoka Tano series is basically going to be the sequel to Star Wars Rebels, and not specifically a sequel, but a successor series. You're going to see Sabine Wren pop up quite a lot, apparently, and apparently the Rebels sequel series that was going to be animated was pretty far into production, which kind of surprises me why they would go really far into production on that, but then switch things over to live action. I would really imagine that the cost of going into live action would be a lot more. I mean, I'm not even going to say I imagine that. I know the cost for live action would be a lot more than animated, but apparently from what these guys say, because they did reveal a lot of details, Lucasfilm doesn't want to abandon the animated Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni allegedly, this is not confirmed by them, wants her story to be finished in the animation, but they're not 110% confident on that one. And it also seems like a lot of the scripts that were going to be used for this Rebels sequel is going to be adapted into the Ahsoka Tano series, which gives me a little bit more hope for this. I'm not going to be a cynic here. I do think Dave Filoni has become a very solid director in the live-action realm. His episodes in The Mandalorian, he's done 3 of them. The first one, Chapter 5 on Tatooine, and then the Jedi, the one with Ahsoka. And there's some directing problems, but it's expected, seeing that's his first time ever doing live action. But when it comes to the writing, that's where I kind of have more issues with his work in live action. In terms of animation, it doesn't seem that bad, so it seems like a decent way to go to have the written Rebels scripts into the live-action Ahsoka Tano series. And apparently, I mean, this is pretty obvious, the Ahsoka Tano series is going to focus on her looking for Thrawn, which in turn is her looking for Ezra. And that's fine. There's no word on Zeb coming in so far. I think I said it in a stream recently. I could probably find out more about Zeb specifically, but I'm not going to say don't hold me to that, but just don't hold me to actually getting information on it. I can try, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get any results. But apparently there's also been a lot of screen tests that happened during The Mandalorian Season 2. Ewan McGregor, of course, did his part as Obi-Wan Kenobi for these screen tests. Tamara Morrison did his job as Rex, which I think, if we recall correctly, these guys did say that Rex was going to show up in Mandalorian Season 2. Looks like they got that part wrong, but what they got right was just that he showed up and did some screen tests. So that's probably why they thought of this. One of the most interesting parts of this, though, is that the story of The Mandalorian, which is, the Mandalorian series, the Ahsoka Tano series, Rangers of the New Republic, and the Book of Boba Fett, will all extend into at least the mid-2020s, which, if we're going to go by mid, I would say at latest 2026, maybe even 2027. So it really seems like we're going to be in the story for a long time, which I think is pretty good. I can't say anyone is ready to be done with the Mandalorian story so far. It actually just seems like we're really just getting started. Even the actor Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, has said that seasons 3 and 4 is when you really start to get into some answers for this. And apparently they even discussed the story having feature films, which honestly sounds like a very good move on the part of Lucasfilm, because imagine this, imagine all these stories interconnect. Ahsoka looks for Thrawn and Ezra in her series. Let's say she gets really close or actually does end up finding them at the end of it, but when she finds them, it's like, oh, Thrawn and Ezra teamed up because they found this big threat in the unknown regions, or, maybe she finds Ezra and he knows where Thrawn's at, yada yada yada, but we end up finding that the Boba Fett series, the Ahsoka Tano series, Rangers of the New Republic, Mando, these all connect somehow, some way to Thrawn. He makes his big, of course, ironically grand reveal. He comes back, makes his debut in live action, and this leads into a new film, or maybe, hear me out here, a new trilogy, and it's kind of like we're getting the Heir to the Empire series from the old expanded universe books. I think that would satisfy a lot of fans, and I also think it would make more sense leading into the sequel trilogy than what we have so far. And that's one thing that I think in hindsight I really do regret about the sequel films, in terms of you know, they just kind of reset everything of the Resistance is now the Rebellion, and the First Order is basically the Empire. It's all just the same as the original trilogy, because it kind of feels like it's a little limiting to the universe of Star Wars, at least for The Mandalorian and all that. But this timeline between episodes 6 and 7, that 30-year gap, is something I have wanted us to explore for a long time now, and now that we're getting that, I have to say, it's kind of fun. It's a really good thing to see The Mandalorian do so well. The storytelling is phenomenal. It's really well written, and I think Season 3 is going to be better than Season 2, and that's hard to say, but I mean, Season 2 was light years better than Season 1, and Season 1 was already pretty much perfect. So I'm really curious how they're going to tie this all in to each other, all these separate series and shows. How many seasons of each one are we going to get? I think we heard that the Boba Fett series is going to be a mini-series, but imagine if we get the Ahsoka Tano series and it's 2 or 3 seasons. That doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility because of her popularity as a character. But what's also interesting is that Dave Filoni wants her story to finish in animation because, of course, she started in animation. I feel like there's some poeticness to having Ashley come back and reprise her role and do the voice and end it there. But how will it end? And who will it end in the hands of? Is it going to be... It's not going to be Darth Vader. He's dead by this point, but... Who's going to finish off Ahsoka? Is she going to be one of the few characters who actually has a peaceful ending in her life that isn't struck down by some asshole of her past? It really seems like things are picking up in the storytelling realm of Star Wars, and that makes me really happy. But tell me your thoughts below. What do you guys think of this possibility of having Ahsoka Tano, her series, being the successor to Rebels? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's bad? And how do you expect all these stories to tie in? We have The Mandalorian, Seasons 3 and 4, we have Ahsoka, we have Rangers of the New Republic, we have Book of Boba Fett, and that's not it. I mean, we're still apparently getting something animation-wise. It's kind of surprising that they did a Rebels successor series or sequel in animation and then just kind of abandoned it out of nowhere because of the success of The Mandalorian, which goes to show how well The Mandalorian has done for storytelling in the Star Wars realm. It really has changed the game. But would you have preferred to see this series, this sequel, in animation, or are you happy with it being in the Ahsoka Tano series? I think we'll have to look at it in hindsight when this all comes out. But tell me your thoughts below. What are you expecting all of this to tie into? Is it going to be Thrawn? Is it going to be something else? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe because it does help out my channel a lot. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.